Cajun family, and welcome back. If y'all can't tell, we got a little bit of a cold front last night and it is in the high 60s today, and I think it's gonna maybe hit 70, I'm not sure, but either way, it feels so nice outside.
Very nice when you're working on outside projects. It's like somebody turned the air conditioning on. Definitely puts a smile on our faces.
Last week, we got to work on the shop pad and we got to concrete all those posts in that we needed to get done before we have the concrete poured. So the next step for working on the shed pad is gonna actually be building the forms, and we really wanted to wait to do that.
With the rain that we got, it softened the ground up, and we really don't want to get out there and build all these forms and everything, get them just how we want them in this wet soil, because they're gonna settle some. And the concrete trucks can't get out there right this moment anyway to pour it. So we're gonna give it a little bit of time to dry, try to get it formed up then.
So in the meantime, we are gonna be outside and we are gonna be working on the front of this house, getting it completed, getting the battens put up, and actually getting those last few pieces underneath the porch that we needed to get done.
We have the east side of the house and the west side of the house. The two long sides, they're trimmed, they're finished, they're painted for the most part. But the two ends of the house, the south and the north sides, they're not completed. And we'd really like to get those done in this mix of projects before the wintertime sets in and it's wet around here.
And I don't know about y'all, but I am ready to see the front of our house painted.
That would be nice.
This primer color is just rough. So we're gonna try to get that knocked out today, not get to the paint just yet, but prep everything to get there. That way, whenever we have some pretty days in a row, we can get that done as well. I think my back's still sore from that concrete.
Well, I guess that's what I get for allowing the little lady to put all the concrete bags in place.
So back in June, we put these bottom pieces up on the top. I guess it would be the bottom of the top of the porch?
The bottom of the top.
The bottom of the top of the porch, but we had to leave those gaps open, if y'all remember, because there was two different nests up there for a bunch of starlings. So our plan was to just wait a week or two till they hatched and went on. But little did we know that as soon as they hatch and leave, the mom lays more and more, and they can end up laying 3 to 4 times in the same nest over the same amount of time.
We started in nursery. That's what we did.
That's exactly what we did. So they do migrate, so now they are all gone. The hatching season is done, so we can officially start the process of getting these ceilings done. Today's video is sponsored by Bespoke Post. Bespoke Post is a monthly membership club delivering a box of awesome top shelf goods from under the radar brands. It's free to join and you can skip a month or cancel anytime. The 2 boxes that we're going to be showing y'all today are Split and Grounds. Split, a chore-ready hatchet that is built to last. One of the unique things embarks on the inside information listed on their website. Here they have lots of information including the care of the hatchet as well as the proper way to split wood safely. Grounds is an underrated outdoor supply fit for any wild adventure. This box includes the Ace Field knife with sheath, camp carabiner, reties, and VC. All these products come in handy for us whenever we're on a typical fishing trip. 90% of the products come from small brands, many of which are based right here in the US. For example, in the box trail, the gut hook knife is made by Titan International, located in my home state, Illinois. Every month they introduce their members to cool new products such as outdoor gear, barware, home and kitchen goods, clothing, and more, even live oysters based on the preference quiz that you fill out. Every box of Awesome has around $70 worth of goods inside, but costs you only a fraction of the price. You can also preview your box before it ships. You'll get a box of Awesome assigned to you, and before it ships, you'll get a preview of what comes inside, and you get to decide if you 1, want to keep it, 2, swap it for a different box, or 3, skip the month entirely for no charge. You only pay for what you want. To get 20% off of your first box of Awesome, make sure to go to bespokepost.com/Cajun20 and use our discount code Cajun20 at checkout. Their box lineup is constantly changing each month, so start today and see what remarkable items are made fit just for you. Thank you, Bespoke Post, for sponsoring this video. Now, whenever we built our porch front, if y'all remember, we purposely did it the 12 foot out because we knew we could buy these sheets in 12 foot. So the length is already good. We just have to cut off for the side. We're just gonna cut those, well, the first piece, 31 1/4, I believe. So we're gonna cut that and then get that one put up and work on the other side then. So, can't do that.
Epic fail number 1. We thought we cut that little piece off, it'll be light enough for us to handle by hand, but not the case.
It's not necessarily the width that you cut it, it's the length. So it being 12 foot, we are gonna have to bring out, yeah, it's too noodly.
It's like a big old noodle.
So we're gonna have to go back inside and bring out our sheetrock lift, which is perfectly fine. Everything's still put together with it. So we're gonna run inside and grab that, but I hate that we have to do that because I was really hoping that would be easy.
Yeah, we needed, if we had one more person, they would have just went up there together.
We do, she's just 3 foot.
She couldn't reach it.
All right, take 2. Now we get to have the fun job of putting this up on the sheetrock lift. Remember last time?
This stuff is just so floppy.
I just wouldn't think that it would be that flexible. This is the cutoff piece that we have left over from putting this last piece up. So instead of just pulling it off the trailer, setting it to the side right now, we're gonna go ahead and where Jim's measuring, we're gonna put this piece up there. So all we need to do is measure exactly how wide it is. And once we get that done, we can go ahead and bam that sucker up there too. Then we can move to the other side and do the exact same thing.
The measurement I got for this next piece is 9 inches. So I'm gonna cut this one 8 3/4. because that piece kicked our rear end. That went about as smooth as sandpaper underwear, and I do not want to go through that again. So you give us a little slack on this one, a little wiggle room, so hopefully this will go a little smoother.
Yeah, that last piece we did was just a little tight. And we are going to be putting battens up there, so we didn't need it that tight, but for some reason we cut it that tight, and this one we will not be making that mistake. Last night we had a decision to make, and that was to either use those two last sheets that we had and rip them up into about 3-inch pieces and use them as the battens, or
you'll pick up some trim at the local Home Depot. We chose to get some trim at the local Home Depot for a couple reasons though.
First one, gladly wanted to go to Home Depot.
That was the main reason, probably so. Second one is we really need those full sheets. They're 12-foot sheets and they're really hard to find, like chicken teeth. They're just not readily available. This other stuff it's off the shelf, so we're going to use all that up for our trim.
So for now, we're just going to go ahead and use what we got yesterday, and we think that was going to be the best use of our time, really, because if we wanted to get this project done, we knew that we were going to have to get something on hand. Every time we've ordered that cement board, we've had to order it. So it was either go to the store, pick some up that would be just a little bit different than what we had, and we could make that work, or wait, and we really didn't want to wait to do this. Ain't it nice to walk outside and not be sweating?
Man, let me tell you, it wasn't even 50 degrees this morning. It is legitimately half the temperature here this morning that it was a couple weeks ago.
Not even a couple weeks, genuinely a couple days ago, it was 99 degrees outside.
If it was like this every day, which I'm not complaining about the heat, I like it, but man, this is way better than that brutal stuff that we've been having. Well, that's unfortunate.
What you got there?
This is the nail not going in all the way removal hooks. So instead of trying to get a hammer and putting the claws on there to try to pull it out, we know we're going to break that fiber cement board. They went in a pretty good way, so we're just going to shear them puppies off. And we've used this little thing a bunch building this house. If you have something that you really got to trim up and it's metal, you can get plastic, wood, you can get all kinds of wheels for this thing. Makes a difficult job really easy. Like it never happened.
So if you notice on the trailer, we have a bunch of these trim boards because we're going to be using them as the battens as well.
These boards are about 3/4 of an inch thick versus the siding, which is like 5/16 of an inch thick. But I think it's going to give that ceiling a little more depth because the fiber cement siding that we put under here doesn't have any type of like a wood grain to it or nothing like that.
Like the walls do.
Yeah. So we think that putting these thicker boards up here is just going to give it a little bit of more dimension.
I like the thicker boards, honestly. I know that might be a weird thing for other people, but I really do like them. I think that it's going to really add to it, especially when we get everything painted. Give it a little bit of a 3D look. Back at it, day 3, and
Do you realize we just admitted to day 3 of trying to put these strips up and get them right?
okay, it's been a process. Listen, whenever you got a toddler, you can only work between X hours to get things done.
And she's going to pick those hours.
Yes.
And she hasn't been real lenient on us.
Not recently.
She's so bossy. We had a big goal of trying to get the whole front of the house prepped and ready for paint, all the trim, all the soffit, all the everything. But that is not going to work out. So I think we're just going to be happy with getting this ceiling done and trim. These same boards that we used for batten strips, we have ripped them in half. We're going to make trim pieces for the corners. That way they'll tie in and they're not so long and clunky.
But the application process is going to be a little bit different on these than just nailing like we did on the top.
We're worried that if we nail these in with a big nail gun that it might bust them because we have ripped them so narrow. But we had some of this liquid nails fuse it left from the fireplace project, and we got some long brad nails. So what we're going to do is put a strip of this behind that fiber cement board, hold it in place, brad nail it. Maybe that'll hold long enough for the glue to dry, and maybe we won't run the risk of splitting these boards.